This quantum leap literally started with Diddy. Just telling it like it is.
Common sense ain't so common, so listen to Akilah, Akilah, Akilah.
Peace, I am back. I am back. I am back. Y'all see the title. I had a great awakening, enlightenment, all of that, without psychedelics. It can be done. I am blown by the way my life has shifted. Okay, so let me go ahead and tell you about how it all happened. Now, it all started with Diddy. I know that sounds crazy, but y'all remember back in November of 2023? I know it was November. Cassie came out with the lawsuit and it was settled the next day. Everybody immediately got real suspicious, like, he must have did all this stuff. So simultaneously, this psychic medium named Sloan Bella went viral because she had predicted this whole thing months in advance. So me being who I am, I go down rabbit holes when I'm interested into something. So I saw the video that she did where, yes, she channeled, tuned up to Kim Porter's frequency. We'll talk about that later. And she goes down the list of all the things that are about to happen. Mind you, this was like 6 months or more before everything dropped. And she was saying details. She was saying how Kim Porter really died, but it was so specific. Because it was specific, I was like, what is this? Because my foundation is in the Nation of Islam. And I thought that when you pass away, like that's it. There's nothing. I didn't know about dimensions and all of that, even though Mother Tainetta, the wife of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, she talked about dimensions pretty frequently, but I never understood, I guess, what she was talking about. And the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that thought never dies. But it never clicked that that means you go to a different dimension once you physically pass out the body. So this whole Kim Porter thing blew me, right? So that was the first, like, psh. And then after that, I simultaneously was in contact with this woman who's also in the nation named Iman Ali. Now, she does Reiki, sound healing, energy, like all of that. And turns out, like the same week, she was doing a interview, like a Zoom interview that she invited me to listen on to. And in that interview, she talked about how she channeled Kim Porter as well. Now, boom, I was blown because I'm like, wait, now this is somebody in the Nation of Islam who speaks my language, who can explain to me what is this channeling thing? Like, what is that? Now, rewind years before this, I had already been listening to Abraham Hicks. I've already been listening to people like Louise Hay and all that, right? I still didn't really know that Abraham Hicks was channeling. And someone who channels is someone who is picking up the frequency of someone in a different dimension. It's like telepathy, but they're being a channel for someone else's frequency to come through and deliver messages. I used to always listen to Abraham Hicks, but I didn't know the breakdown of what she was doing. I just knew that everything she said resonated with me in the deepest part of my spirit. Now, fast forward to last year, the end of 2024, I decided to go on a social media fast. And at first it was just like, I feel spiritually, mentally constipated. I need to get off of social media. And so I got off of social media, and that week turned into weeks, and then the weeks turned into months, and the months, it was like 6 months I was off of social media, and it changed my life. Because by that time, I then started to ask Sister Iman Ali those deeper questions like, okay, now explain to me how Sloan Bella did all of this. And so she was able to then explain to me about how thought never dies, and it's like it's waves in the air. There's waves everywhere. That's how you tune into radio stations. It's on sound waves. And turns out when we pass away from the physical, our thought consciousness is still living, like actively living. It doesn't stop at wherever you die. Like you just keep on evolving, because everything in Allah's creation is evolving at all times. So I'm like, wait, what? I'll never die. I am eternal. I mean, mind blown. And so the reason why I compare it to shrooms and like psychedelics is because apparently, from doing my research, that's how it feels when you have one of those psychedelic experiences. I started to watch all of Tyler Henry, the Hollywood psychic. I started watching his Netflix series. I started watching all these videos on YouTube that he's done. I started watching, of course, all of Sloan Bella's stuff. I was obsessed. So much so to the point, because I was focused so much on that concept about how thought consciousness never dies, I ended up having my own experience with it. I channeled my friend's brother who passed away when he was a baby. And when I channeled him, this man was 33 years old now, which is exactly the age that he would have been when I channeled him. This is the type of stuff that all these people saying that you need to do psychedelics in order to experience, that is not true. You can get the same moments without psychedelics. And I am not anti-psychedelic, not mind you, but I'm also here to show you that I have these experiences without it. After that experience, it just kept confirming that all of these things are very much so real. And then I had another Clara experience. Something, it's like when you smell something. I was in the living room. I had just finished cleaning up, and I told myself, I said, it looks like there needs to be a scent in the room. Right when I thought that thought, I immediately smelled a scent. I have 3 scents that's up on my little key stand by the front door. One of those 3 scents I never spray. I always go to the pink bottle, but I never spray this one scent. When I smelled the scent that I smelled, intuitively, it was like telepathy. Something told me, go to your scents over there and pick this one up. The one, and I knew, I said, this is going to be the same smell that I smell right now. Mentally, I don't know how I could smell something without it actually being sprayed, right? Y'all know I picked that doggone thing up, sprayed it, and it was the exact smell that I smelled. And I started texting all these people. I'm like, I just had an experience. And so I Googled it. And of course, it says clairvoyant, I believe. I got to look it up. But it's when you can smell something. Sometimes you can smell a relative that might have passed away, and you can smell their scent or something like that. And you might be somewhere that has none of that scent, right? Which shows that they are present in some way. Mind blown. So Oprah has a podcast. On one of her podcasts she did about Eckhart Tolle's book, The New Earth. And she said that she reads this like every month, like, or every year, something like that. And it's right on her bedstand or whatever. So I was like, she really going hard on this book. Like, she acting like it's so good. So I ordered the book, got the book. Life-changing, because I was already in the space of getting into meditation, because meditation, as I'm studying all this about channeling, they talk about meditation and how that's a good way to be able to tap in to different dimensions, because silence is what allows your inner God to express itself. The book is all about the ego and how we have to learn how to master the ego by silencing the mind and allowing the God in us to overpower and really take over the mind. Mind you, I have a friend, Prince David. I watch Prince's, his on YouTube is Crowned Prince, and he's always dropping jewels. I've known him since college. And then I found another sister. She goes by Her Conscious Styles. And so she's talking about the same stuff that I'm talking about in consciousness and how we're God and how, you know, all these things. And then she mentions Neville Goddard. It seems as if that's the main person that has helped her in her journey of finding a lot of these things out. So of course I do my research and I'm like, okay, let me get one of his books on Amazon. amazing, right? So I get his book, and I get his book, The Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. And that was mind blowing. While I was on that social media fast, I went to Baltimore. This was during the Hurricane Beryl that just devastated Houston, and electricity was out for like 2 weeks. But I was up in Baltimore, so I was fine. And actually, my husband was fine. He stayed in Houston, but our apartment never lost electricity. And so I was in Baltimore with my daughter. And while I was on that particular trip, my aunt Callie showed me Bashar. And Bashar, his name is Daryl Anka, and he channels too. Mind you, he channels with his eyes closed. See, Abraham Hicks, she always has her eyes open, so I never knew she was channeling. I didn't know what she was doing. But Bashar, when he channels, his eyes are closed. And that's when I realized that thing that Bashar is doing is what Abraham was doing, but her eyes were just open. So now I knew what channeling was. And so then I started listening to Bashar. And again, he was also saying things that resonated deeply with my spirit. And it just kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the mind blowingness of all there is. There's so much to learn. Made my necklace come off. So that's how everything started to really happen. And it was like back to back to back to back to back. That's how you know it was a quantum leap, because a quantum leap is sudden. It's like a sudden quickening of enlightenment, a sudden quickening of consciousness moving forward. And I did all of that, never took shrooms, never took LSD. Speaking of LSD, so what made me deep dive into researching about psychedelics is because I then, after seeing Bashar, I started looking for other people who channel, because now I knew the word channeling. And so I came across Erin Lyons. She's a Black woman around my age who is a channeler, but she started channeling from doing LSD. My mind about LSD and stuff, I thought that was like hippie drugs. Like, I didn't know that it had anything productive going on with it until when she said she did LSD and then she had her awakening. I was like, so of course I deep dive into all of that. And her husband also, he said he had his awakening through doing shrooms and all that stuff. And so I'm like, what in the world? So that's what made me want to research, how is it that these psychedelics are kickstarting some people's awakenings? And so I went on Netflix. I think it was called How to Think or something like that. And I watched that. So it deep dived into LSD, ecstasy, shrooms, all of those things. Really, I had my quantum leap within this last year. I think that the Most High allowed me to have such a gift, because to finally awaken for real is a true gift. It's like you weren't even really living before you awaken. It was like I was just faithful before I really started to awaken. There's a difference between faith and then knowing, because when you have faith, you think, you believe that this is going to happen. But when you know, it's a little different, right? Jesus didn't have faith in God. Jesus knew God. I mean, there's a difference. Like, we have faith and we have belief until we know. And so it's a true gift to be able to get to that point where you start knowing that the Most High set up these laws, set up laws of the universe, set up different dimensions. When you know that, it changes everything. This journey, even though I quantum leaped this past year, it took a year of quantum leapness, my whole life has led to this point. All my prayers, all my sincere desires to be good, to be righteous, to be a good follower of the Most High, like all of those sincere desires came down to this very moment where the Most High gave me the best gift I could have ever asked for, which is an awakening, which is enlightenment, which is how to truly live. Like, that is the thing that everyone should experience one day before you pass away from this physical body. Of course, when you pass away from the physical body and you are no longer in this dimension, you are indeed a part of the all in all. And so you know all things. But now, to be able to have heaven on earth right now and know how to create it for yourself, yes, at this point, we don't know exactly the time that everything is going to just pan out. Like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire on uh, January 27th, 2027. It's not necessarily like that, or it could be, but it's not necessarily like that. But it's like you just keep doing the work, because now you know. Now you know about the laws of the universe. You know that the Most High has set up these things. You know the principles that you should live by. You know the fact that you should have good thoughts. You know how to attract things to yourself. You know the laws of attraction. You know the laws of cause and effect. When you know, you know. Again, I'm not against psychedelics and I'm not for psychedelics, but I did my research on psychedelics, and the same feeling that they felt is the same feelings that I'm feeling without those things. So you absolutely can attain your awakening without psychedelics. You absolutely can experience mind blowing and mind shifting and consciousness shifting thoughts and ideas and experiences without any of those mind enhancing drugs. And I totally recommend being able to do it without it, because then you know that you can do it at all times for the rest of your life without anything outside of you. It's all in you. I used to have a song called It's All Inside of You. Greatness is inside of you. I haven't sang that song in a long time. I'm just grateful. And let me tell you, when you experience these things, so when I was watching when I was watching the documentary on Netflix about psychedelics, and they were talking about how you just experience being connected to all there is, and being connected to the universe, being connected to the plants, to the trees, to everything in creation. You do truly feel that way when you grow into enlightenment and awaken to what truly is. Like, I feel like I treat people better. I mean, I've always been kind to people, but I feel like I treat my daughter better. I feel like I treat my husband better. Like, I'm so much more patient because I know that all is well. Truly, all is well. Like, at first, we kind of say that. And let me tell you, like, affirmations, they really only are tools, right? For people who are striving to keep their minds on a higher plane with their spirit. But your spirit has to be, you have to know that your spirit is all is well. And these affirmations are just tools to keep you reminded that all is well. But if you're saying affirmations, but you really don't believe that all is well, affirmations won't work. You have to know the laws of the universe, and you have to know that all is well. You have to know that all things work for the good of those who love the Lord. You have to really know that. And then once you know that for sure, that's when your affirmations will come in handy. That's when you look in the mirror and say, I am great, I am this, I am beautiful, I am that. That's when it works. It's because you already know the setup. Now, the affirmations are just a reminder. So, yeah, it's deep, it's wonderful, it's a beautiful experience. And I pray that you get to experience this enlightenment well before you pass away from this physical plane, from this third dimension. I pray that you get to experience heaven on earth right now, and that you find your tribe, and that you find people who understand what you're talking about. There's so many people on YouTube who are speaking my language, and I am blown, okay? Because for years, I felt like only people in the Nation of Islam really understood and knew that we are gods, and some Hotep people, but for the most part, yeah, I didn't think that the average person believed that, because most people think that's blasphemy. I have another video about that. You can watch it. But now you go on YouTube and my algorithm says everybody is getting to that point. It's a great shift, and it's going to be a great separation as well, because there's going to be those who understand the laws of the Most High, and then there's going to be those who don't. There's going to be those who live, and there's going to be those who just exist. And you really want to live. You really want to live. So I pray you live and have a wonderful awakening. And if you already have had your awakening, holla at me, okay? Because we are in the same tribe. Peace.